Welcome to Behind Enemy Lines. Terry's taking the night off, but we've got a fantastic guest and a lot to cover.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Oh, living the dream as always. Just another day in
Always
paradise.
somebody else's dream when you're me. So tonight we have a subject that I'm not smiling about, and it's the murder by what I consider an invading army, and it's the illegal aliens. And we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk about the petition I started on change.org. Uh, it's change.org/justice for Sheridan. And Sheridan Gorman is the 18-year-old uh, child, baby still, that was shot in the back by an illegal alien in downtown Chicago. And horrible enough to have to say one name, but there's a lot more names. Uh, dozens of girls killed. And today, one of our guests too is my good friend Jennifer, whose daughter Megan was killed by an illegal alien through inaction at the least. And after she was dead, in a cowardly act, an act of cowardice, he stuffed her upside down in a trash can, soaked her in bleach, and left her there for 7 weeks to rot while her family searched for her. And it's just it's a problem in this
Heartbreaking.
country, and it's not a one off. There's dozens of these cases. Look at Lake and Riley. Look at all the other lives that have been taken. It's countless, and we forget the names so fast. We forget them so fast, and uh, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I've spent a lot of time with Jennifer. I spent a lot of time with the family. I knew Jennifer's husband Eric before the tragedy. We used to go to the gym together, and we've been very involved in it. And it's just not enough.
Oh,
Jennifer's been on Fox News multiple times. I've covered her in my publications. I've covered her in the newspapers here, and everybody still forgets. We have to keep reminding them. This change.org petition that we have, we're just shy of 6,000 signatures on there, which is pretty good, but it's not good enough. I'm actually kind of shocked that we don't have a million signatures on there. Where's the outrage? You got all the outrage for these criminals: George Floyd, Alex Preddy, uh, Renee Good. They were criminals, and there's outrage. There's riots in the street. Where's the outrage for these innocent girls, these innocent women whose lives were taken by illegal aliens who should have never been here in the first place? And we have more than an illegal alien problem in this country. We have a Democrat problem. These Democrats just they almost remind me of the owner of a rabid pit bull, that will just defend that animal no matter what it does, and fight tooth and nail to keep it. But
well, yeah.
I'm at a loss. I don't know why we just continue to allow this in our country.
Well, and what kills me about it, and you kind of already alluded to this, that if an illegal alien murders an American, the headline disappears faster than if it's a trans mass shooter. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to address it. They pretend it's just a local issue. It's a one-off, and it doesn't matter if it's a situation like we're going to discuss tonight, where it's an outright murder, or even these CDLs that are going that were given licenses that can't speak English, can't actually pass the exam, that are on our roads killing Americans every week. We see new headlines at least once a week where one of these jackasses runs somebody over, makes a giant illegal U-turn, or wipes out a family in their minivan on their way home from school. And it happens all the time. None of this has to happen. This is unacceptable. And that's what we need. We really need to get back to. We have to get this under control. Um, it's time to expand beyond just deporting so-called illegal alien criminals, and it's time to bring in mass deportations. We need to do this. We deserve this. This is the law in our country. I know these little activists. I mean, we're going to talk about this later, but they're planning on taking all your kids out of school in Illinois. They're now actually taking the day off on May Day, May 1st, so they can go out and protest, so they can continue to indoctrinate and weaponize your children against you. And they want to make this a nationwide event. But you guys in Illinois, they've got the day off, and that's why.
It's insane. It's insane. None of it makes sense. We're living in the twilight zone. It's been like this for a while now, and if it continues, we are not to plagiarize Trump. We're not going to have a country anymore. Uh,
Yeah.
we're not going to have our daughters anymore because the world is going to be overrun by these savage illegal aliens, and they are. They're third world savages. They don't belong here. They don't assimilate into our country. They don't want to assimilate to our country. Um, Years ago, when this started under the Biden administration, I commented multiple times. These are military age men coming across the border. And I'm not the only one who said it alone. There's no women, there's no children. They're not refugees. They're an invading army, and that's exactly
Yes.
what it was. MS-13, Agua. It's all these cartels and everything else. People from the Middle East have come here through the southern border as well.
18,000. There's 18,000 DHS is looking at right now with known connections to terrorism that were let in our border by the Biden regime, both during the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. We brought 90,000 in there, but also with the border being open. 18,000 with known connections to terrorists are still here within our border right now, and those are just the ones we know about. The ones we really need to be concerned about are all the ones that snuck across the border when it was essentially wide open, like say that Iranian IRGC hacker they tried to sneak over in the trunk of a car out in the middle of the desert. Those are the ones that we have to be concerned about, especially the ones that we don't know about, aren't aware of yet. There's Hezbollah assassination cells known to be in the United States right now.
Absolutely, and you know, in the wake of it, we have people like Jennifer, who's our guest tonight, who they're just victims of it, and they shouldn't be. They belong here. Jennifer's family belonged here. Jennifer's daughter belonged here. Uh, their killers do not belong here. They should have never been here in the first place. We've had multiple opportunities to remove most of them, and we failed to do it. I mean, so whose hands is the blood on? It's the Democrats. It's the people who make these laws that they should be apologizing. They should be thrown in prison. It just
Yep.
it befuddles me.
Yeah, we need to get serious about this. We need to cut off all welfare benefits for illegal aliens. We need to start actually enforcing E-Verify so they can't find work with employers here, anybody that's lawful and E-Verify compliant. We have to disincentivize coming to the country illegally on all levels. I don't care if you just want a better life for your family, if you're an economic migrant, as they say, we still have a right to know who's here, and we shouldn't be bringing people that don't add something to the America's economy and America's way of life. This isn't the dumping ground for all the world's misfits and useless people. We are not the world's welfare check. We have to start getting back to doing what's best for ourselves, best for America, and let the rest of the world deal with their own problems. We need to ship everybody back to wherever they came from, and they can make that country great again. Because it certainly is going to happen with we continue to allow ourselves to be victim of this invasion, and we have hostile foreign nationals on our soil exploiting our safety nets, our welfare systems, and everything else for their own enrichment. And let's not keep in mind, too, many of these people are sending huge sums of money back to their home countries. They have no intention of becoming productive Americans. We also need to go back, even once all the deportations are done, we need to go back to a nation that assimilates. We need a halt on all immigration and until assimilation can be completed, until people are here, are blended in, they are part of America. Now, that doesn't mean we can't have a few, a very small number of legitimate refugee visas during that time period. But until we get back to something that actually enforces our values instead of further dividing us, something that turn it back into a unifying factor, it's got to all stop. They crossed the line. They brought in 30 plus million people, and we have to fix the problem once and for all. One last little housekeeping note, and then we'll bring our guest on. If you look up in this corner of your screen here in a second, you're going to see a QR code and a link for the change.org Justice for Sheridan petition. If you haven't already signed it, please click the link, click the QR code, or you can follow the link out. But the QR code should be active. If you're on a smart device, you should be able to click it and go right to the website, sign that, and again, give them a piece of your mind.
Absolutely. And if you have already signed it, be sure to share it. Get it everywhere. Post it on your socials. Share it with your coworkers. Tell your family about it. Have them share it. It's so important. People, your daughter could be next. Megan is gone, and it's for no other reason that they allow illegal aliens to stay in the country. They don't enforce the laws,
Yep.
and I'm so thankful to have Jennifer as a friend, but because of the circumstances I met her under, I wish I never met her because it's terrible. It's just something that should never happen.
Yeah.
And with that, hi Jennifer.
Hi, Mickey. I totally understand.
So Jennifer, I know your story, but I want you to tell your story, and I know you've been on Fox News a lot. I know you've been
Yeah.
on local news a lot. You've been all over. Little different rules here. I want you to feel free to tell your story the way you want to say it. There's no editing here. We're gonna. I know I talked about something the
already
other day that you
live.
did. Yeah, she was aggravated because they edited out most of the content, because they do that. They spin everything for
Yeah.
you. You won't be edited, Jenna. You can say whatever you want. You've watched me before. You know how that works. So
Mhm.
feel free.
Of
You
course.
have the stage. Say
I
what you want.
definitely have been, everything I've said has been cut up into little sound bites ever since this happened for a year. So it's really frustrating not to be able to just tell the story and help people understand because Megan's case is a little complicated, Um, and I'm all over the place. I'm dealing with the immigration part of it. I'm dealing with the Safety Act part of it. I'm dealing with the fentanyl part of it. There's a lot of things that touch our lives right now with the death of Megan. And I'm trying to address them all because all of them are incredibly important and incredibly dangerous to this country.
Yeah,
So,
Jennifer,
um,
can I ask some questions and kind of just I
yeah,
know you, but I want to ask the questions because not everybody else knows you.
yeah,
Megan
please.
was 37, right?
Yes,
She had children,
two.
2 children, and
Mhm.
I've met them. But can you tell me about her children?
Well, Lelia is 6, she's almost 7. Um, she was a tiny little peanut when she was born. Megan had an anomaly, that caused her to have her when she was 27 weeks. And so she was a pound and a half when she was born. She's a tiny little thing. She's perfect in every way. She's all growing up normal and healthy, and she lives with us. We adopted her. Sweet, bubbly, just the best thing ever. She and Megan had a son last fall, that she had given up for adoption. She did not, she knew she wasn't in a position to take care of him. Um, so she did, give him to a family to adopt, and, we actually are getting to know him. So he's just a little guy, and, just love him to pieces.
And you're taking care of her daughter now. I know that.
Mhm.
You and Eric, and
Yeah.
she's young, and I had the opportunity to speak in front of her, and I was a little bit guarded. It just, uh, and guarded for the reason that it's horrific what happened to her mother.
Mhm.
And one day she's gonna know, and I don't know how she's gonna deal with that, but it's horrific, and it's something a child should never have to know about their parent. And I would like
Well,
you, if
this is
you would,
also why
everybody.
I respond to so many things online that are wrong. This is why I try to correct things whenever I can because her kids are going to see it someday. Her kids' friends, her kids' teachers, her kids' employers. Everybody who knows them are going to know. And they're going to read these things. And I cannot stand that there's so many lies on the internet. I just hate it. So I really try really hard to keep up and try to keep things honest and straightforward as much as I can. Um, to protect them as much as I can. It's the only
Yeah.
thing I can do.
What did the illegal alien do to Megan?
Well, Megan, she had been picked up by some friends who were giving her a ride, and the person's alternator or something happened, and they ended up in this parking lot of the bar. His car not functioning. Um, they were gambling in the bar. Megan decided to leave the parking lot, and that was the last that they saw her. Um, as we later found out, He lived 1/10 of a mile from the parking lot. She walked over there, and he claims that she came over to use drugs, and that she was using some drugs when he left the room for 5 minutes, and when he came back, she was deceased.
Jennifer, do you believe he gave her the drugs?
I believe he did that or something else, yes.
Okay.
That is my personal belief. That's all I can say. I have gone through everything with a fine-tooth comb. I analyzed and picked apart every little bit of this, and it just keeps coming back to the same thing. I really don't believe she did this to herself.
Yeah. And what happened to Megan after he gave her the drugs?
So he claimed that he came back downstairs, that he was in a basement room. He claimed he came back downstairs and found her already deceased, and he didn't try to help her. He didn't call for help, 911 or anything, because he's here illegally and didn't want to be found out. Now, Megan was his friend. Megan knew him. From what I understand, she had known him for a couple years. There were other people who lived in that house, so I'm not sure if it's just him that she knew, or she knew the rest of the people who lived there too. So I'm not entirely certain. We haven't been able to get like text messages or anything like that. There's just, he destroyed her phone, so we have no access to that. But
How did he destroy her phone?
he smashed it. And then he
Smashed
took it to his job to throw it away. He didn't even just throw it in the garbage. He took it to his work and threw it away there.
That doesn't sound suspicious at all.
I'm going back to when they released him the next day, and he was just a scared, poor, undocumented person, a scared, asylum seeker. And
so, according to him, because the only thing that I can tell you about this evening is that she left her friends and went to his house. That's all I know that happened for sure before she died. And so, according to him, he didn't know what to do. He was scared, so he left her in his room for 3 days, because who wouldn't do that?
He didn't know what to do, but he knew to smash her phone.
Mm-hmm.
He knew not to call 911. He knew not to try to revive her himself, or well, at least on the front stoop where maybe somebody would see her. He knew all that because he knew he didn't belong here. He knew he was a criminal. He knew he was an illegal alien, and he knew he had just committed a crime, most likely. And
at the very least, if it was his friend and she did have fentanyl toxicity happening, first of all, that is survivable with help many, many, many times. But this is his being discovered as being here illegally was more important to him than her life, the life of a friend that he claimed that he loved.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't understand that. How do you put anybody's life? I mean, how do you put anybody's life at such low priority? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't see how somebody's mind can work that way. Watch their friend die so they don't get in trouble.
So after how many days did you say he left her in his room?
I think it was like 3 days.
Okay.
What he says.
What did he do then?
Then he brought in a garbage can, a residential garbage trash can that gets picked up every week. Brought that down into the basement, laid it on its side, put her in it upside down.
How did he put her in it?
So he laid it down and put her in it upside down.
First, upside down.
Mm-hmm. And supposedly this little man, this very tiny little man, managed to carry this 165-pound woman with a 25-pound trash can up a flight of stairs by himself.
By himself.
I'm
Yep.
a pretty big guy, and I would struggle with that.
Right? You think?
Yeah.
I get the whole, you can do a stair at a time, but I'm sorry. I don't think he could even balance. Do you know what I'm saying? I think
Well,
he'd
not
fall
to
right
mention-
over.
Not to mention, wouldn't anybody else in the house like hear this if you're dragging this thing up the steps? You would think everybody in the house would know something was going on, and people would come to look. I mean, that's not like a normal sound you hear, even if you are dragging it up
Well-
step by step.
And well, he claims, of course, he did that when nobody was home. But, think about the fact of leaving a body in your home for 3 days.
So, and
You know what? If you've ever been around somebody who has passed away at home, you know that it is not very long before you notice that there is somebody who has passed away in the house.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Jennifer, what happened after he got her outside in the garbage can?
So he took her outside and he put bleach in there. I am assuming he continually put bleach in there while she was there. He put the garbage can back by the back of his house and covered it with I think I was told a carpet, threw a carpet over the top because the container was broken, the lid. And left her there for 51 days. Just
For
left
how
her there.
long?
51 days, 7
And-
weeks.
He covered her with carpet and anything else?
Just poured the bleach in, as far as I know.
And all the while, your family's looking for her.
I don't know if I ever told you this, Vicki, but I started to the reason I realized that she was missing and not just kind of ducking us, because sometimes she did that. One of her friends had called me and said, we've been looking all over for her too. And that's when I really panicked and called, the police and told them that she was missing. And I was able to kind of, this person would tell me about this person, would tell me about that person. And so I would be able to kind of network around, all of these people. And the person that she had stayed with before, he was helping me walk through that neighborhood where this man lived. I call him JMG because I hate saying his name, but for the record, it is Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez. That's the only time I'm going to say it on the show. I refer to him as JMG. So my friend was helping take me around to this neighborhood because he knew there was somebody in that neighborhood that Megan knew. He knew it, but he didn't know which house it was. So we were knocking on doors. He was knocking on doors. He didn't want me going up to the door. So I was on the sidewalk and he was knocking on doors. He knocked on this man's door 10 days after I reported her missing. 10 days. And I found out after, through the police, I found out after that he was in the house that day and he was hiding from us. He knew we were looking for her. And, she was literally, I could have walked down the driveway and gotten her.
And there she was. But
Yeah. 10 days in.
after she was discovered, he was arrested. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
And-
used her phone records to find him. He was the last person before there was no other contacts on her phone. And so they were able to locate him working at the Tony's Fresh Market there in Waukegan. And they went and they started questioning him. He was squirrely and told a whole bunch of non-truths about not having seen her in months. And then it was she came and she left. And I mean, it was just one thing after another. They knew he was lying. They took him into the police station to question him more. And of course they did that. And I think it was the next morning they charged him with the charges of abuse of a corpse for moving her body. That's when you think abuse of a corpse, that is not what you think. That's what it means in Illinois. He moved her body. He was charged with destroying evidence, which was the phone, obviously, and for concealing a death. So he didn't call it in. That's all the charges that they could come up with for this.
But
We
no
didn't
murder.
know how she died. There was only him saying that she had done drugs. There was no tox report. There's nothing. There was no drugs to be found. There was nothing to say one way or another if he killed her or if it was an accident. There was nothing. Zero.
Whoa.
He destroyed
So
her.
they never did a tox report? They never
Oh, they
verified
did,
his
but
story?
it took 3 or 4 months. It took 3 or 4 months to get that back.
Now, I gotta
So
say
the
this.
night that he was arrested after having a dead body in his possession for 51 days that he hid purposely with very intentional evidence destroying actions,
Yeah.
they just let him go without knowing if he killed her.
Have they charged him with homicide or anything like that yet? Because it seems pretty obvious.
Nope. It does seem obvious, doesn't it? No, they didn't charge him with homicide. They have increased his charges to his concealment charge got increased to concealing a homicidal death. So
Tell me how that
although
makes
it's a
sense.
little I know, it's so confused, right? To conceal a homicidal death, you don't have to be the person who committed the homicide. You just are concealing the death, right?
Well,
So
even sorry to interrupt you again, but even then, okay, I'll give you an example. Normally, like if somebody like knocks off a convenience store and they shoot the clerk, the getaway driver
Right.
also gets charged with murder. So regardless, he's part of the murder plot or murder. I don't know, even if you want to say it was an accidental death, whatever. He's still part of it.
Right. And that's why it's an increased charge. So the concealing a death is a class 4 felony. Concealing a homicidal death is a class 3 felony. So what happened was I was just absolutely going nuts so that he wasn't arrested. He was on a 24-hour curfew, so he could stay at his home or be at work. But that was supposed to be it. But he got 2 days off a week, thanks to the Safety Act, 2 days off a week for free movement, to take care of doctor appointments and grocery shopping and things like that. You got to make sure that they're taken care of.
Right.
And all of those days counted day for day against any sentence he was going to get.
So, and I don't know, Jennifer. I don't know if you said this because it's just I've heard the story 100 times already, and it never ceases to just blow my mind. He admitted while in custody to stuffing a 37-year-old mother of 2 head first upside down in a garbage can, soaking her body in bleach and leaving her in his backyard for 51 days?
51 days.
For 51 days, letting her rot in his driveway, right? He admits to this, and we let him go the next morning, right? Free?
Yep.
Free to go home on a little
Yeah,
curfew.
well, he had to go to his
a
first
week.
appearance court. Yeah, he went to his first appearance court, but class 4 felonies in Illinois cannot be detained for any reason. The judge cannot detain a class 4 felony. Can't.
Yeah.
So
and
he had no choice but to.
is
She
because
said
of
she would have. Huh?
the Safety Act.
What's that?
The Safety Act is the law, right?
Yep.
So the Safety Act in Illinois is and Jennifer just really explained it. They can't hold them. They can't hold them. And everybody says, well, it's not the judge's fault. It's not the state's attorney. Bullshit. Because they're all Democrats and they all go. If you are a Democrat, that was my first
I'm
forward.
going to disagree with you on this.
If you are a Democrat,
Mhm.
whether a politician or if you vote for them, you have the blood on your hands. Because you
Yes,
guys,
that I agree.
you evil demons, Democrats, you vote for this stuff, and this is what it does. It leaves in its wake victims like
Death
Jennifer
and
and her family.
destruction.
You know,
Mhm.
and Jennifer is one story that we're going to tell tonight of her daughter Megan. There's dozens more, and it's if you are a Democrat politician, state's attorney, sheriff in Lake County, uh, this is your fault. This is your fault because you support this stuff. You stand behind it. You even if you're
Mhm.
legally bound to enforce it, you should speak out against it because it's wrong. There in no world,
Yep.
and I can promise you, White Mickey here, if I were to stuff a girl in my garbage can, I wouldn't be free the
National
next day.
news. It would be
Oh,
Oh
national
no,
no.
news. It'd
I
be the only
wouldn't
thing we
Oh,
be.
heard about.
let me tell you something really funny. You're gonna love this. So Megan was picked up in October on an old warrant for drug paraphernalia. Back in October of 2025. She was held in jail till December. Couldn't get out.
Well, yeah, got to make sure. Yeah, got to make sure she stays in there. Nobody else can be harmed. I just
How
want to
many,
interject.
Yeah.
how many days was she in jail?
A couple months.
Couple of months.
A couple months. Mhm. For an old
Paraphernalia.
warrant for having possession of paraphernalia. Yeah.
Yeah. And half of it's legal now in Illinois. All the weed, the pipes, all the gummies.
Yeah. Right.
Shit.
Right.
You know, and it's just it doesn't make any sense. We are living, and I said this earlier, we're living in the twilight zone. It makes no sense.
It is.
This guy who did this to your daughter should have been marched down to the town square,
Mm-hmm.
tied a noose around his neck, and hung in the middle of the street. And that's what
Absolutely.
we got to do to these kind of people because that's what they deserve. I don't care
Absolutely.
how she died. I don't care how she died. He stuck her in a trash can and covered her in bleach and left her for 51 days while her family suffered pain that I cannot imagine. And that it's unforgivable.
Yeah.
It's true. She, you know, she had gotten clean. I've told you this. She had gone through rehab. She had been clean for there's so much more to this story, Mickey. I don't think I've even told you. Because I haven't, there's been so much coming at me that I can't even get into all the other problems that contributed to this whole situation.
Yeah.
So she had gotten clean. She had gone to rehab. She had been clean for 4 months. She had arranged to go to a sober living home, and the public defender did not get her released from the court prior to her being released from the rehab. So guess where she had to go? Back to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So she went back to jail. They did not take her medication.
White American citizen. She doesn't have the protections of the
Right.
Safety Act.
She, not part of the protected
she had to go back
class.
to jail, and she was at least like 2 days without her mental health medication, her Suboxone that was helping her stay sober. And then when the judge finally released her, there was no continuum of care. They didn't make sure she got to her sober living place. Nothing. They just let her walk out. She didn't have a purse. She didn't have a phone. She had nothing. She was a mile away from where she used to live. What do you think she was going to do?
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's just, there's so many things that contributed to this calamity of events, you know, that led to her death. You know, her death, Mike, for your knowledge, I don't know if you know or not, but her cause of death came back as undetermined because her condition, the amount of decomposition of her body, and the lack of evidence, because it was destroyed, there's really no way to tell for sure. She had a level of fentanyl in her system, but cannot tell if that's what took her life.
I want to ask something else too.
Mhm.
How long was he out before he got picked up by ICE? How long from the time he got let go by Lake County till ICE picked
April,
him?
May, June, July. I think he was picked up in July. He was picked up in July. So
And
3.5
when was he
months, maybe
released?
3 or 3.5 months.
3.5 months. He went
Yeah.
free, And the only reason he got picked up by ICE is because you got lucky. You were at the White House and you caught President Trump's attention.
I
And
did.
I don't know. I think I don't think you have the video clip of that, but it's a pretty. I've watched it 1,000 times and I absolutely love it because Jennifer just being Jennifer, she's not afraid to speak, and I absolutely love her for that, Mike. You could. I at first I was like really careful talking in front of her because I could be very blunt, and I found out we're very very similar. She could be very blunt too. She doesn't hold any punches, and she didn't with Trump either. And she went right over somebody's shoulder and got his attention and told him, and he looked and he said, "What? Watch what happens."
Watch what happens.
And
Send me the clip. We got time. We can still run it.
The next day, right?
What's
Was
that?
it the next day they picked him up?
It was I think it was 3 days.
Okay.
I had stayed in. It was a combination of things now because I had met with the Judiciary Committee. I had met with a couple of representatives, House representatives, staffers to talk about this. It was the Judiciary Committee that was really super helpful and encouraging it that we could do something about it. And then I also wrote a note to Speaker Mike Johnson while I was sitting 2 seats away from him during that halt fentanyl act signing. I wrote him a note and passed it to him before I talked to President Trump. So all of this combination, I'm sure, kind of came together. And 3 days after I came home from Washington, he was arrested by ICE. That was wonderful.
Yeah, you are an absolute fighter, and that I love that about you. It's just you have. I don't think if I were in your situation, I would have the same demeanor as you do. I have
don't
it
believe that.
naturally I have it naturally in my existence now. I don't think if it was my daughter, I would be able to do what you have done.
Well, it's taken me almost a year to get through being on TV or something without crying, and I still can't do it most of the time. It just, but it's something I have to do. I can't not do it. I can't not do it. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. And if somebody doesn't hear it from someone like me who's lived it, they don't believe it when it's coming from me, and I lived it. It's the same with the immigration. It's the same with the Safety Act. They're not understanding. Look at Sheridan Gorman. Oh my gosh. If it could be any more clearer than in Sheridan Gorman's case, that man was arrested 2 other times before he shot her in cold blood. 2 other times. Now, number one, when they arrested him the very first time, they should have called ICE, period. They did not. They should have held him when he shoplifted the second time. This was a second crime. They don't hold anything anymore. They have the word is escaping me. They have categorized crimes to some that used to be arrestable that now are only a ticket.
Yeah. And what the issue is too is in the case of Sheridan's murderer, illegal alien murderer, they've tried to make you feel sorry for him. He has a bullet fragment in his head. He's got a dent in his head. He suffers from that. He's just a poor scared. She scared him. She startled him.
He figured out how to get a gun now, didn't he?
And at the end of the day, what really happened is he's a third world savage who had no business being in the United States of America. He's a third world savage we had 2 opportunities to remove and we didn't because of Democrats. He's a third world savage that unfortunately, wherever he got the bullet hole, it didn't go all the way through and end his life sooner so that he didn't have the chance to murder Sheridan Gorman.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been here. He should not have been here. He shouldn't have had the opportunity to jump out at her on that night and kill her. I mean, how do people not understand this? How is this not clear? The one thing that I get the most is, why don't you care about the school shootings? Why don't you care about, white men committing murder? Why don't you care about this? Why don't you care about that? It's not that I don't care about it. It's that these are preventable. We know exactly how to prevent this from happening. These people don't belong here.
This is so.
They don't
This is
belong
so,
here. And we should not have to wait to become a victim for the perpetrator to be put on the worst of the worst list.
yeah. I mean, here, does every car out there have a car accident?
Right.
No, but we still put our seatbelt on when we get in every car, don't we? Because
Right.
it could happen, and it's happened. Same thing with
Right.
illegal aliens. They got to go. They're not
Right.
vetted. They're not assimilated. They don't share our values. They come from third world nations where life is not valued. And the majority of
That
these
is a big
murders,
point too.
the majority of these murders are women, and it's because
Mhm.
women are seen as less valuable in these
Yes.
countries they come from. They do not
It's
share
true.
our values. They do not belong here. They don't
It's
belong here.
true.
I found a
And
19-page list on the DHS website just of Americans that were murdered by illegal aliens in 2025. 19
Yep.
pages of it in 1 year.
Yep. Oh, but it never happens. It's just it's a one-off.
Yeah.
Just seriously, people do not understand. The news won't report it. In fact, I heard, Sheridan Gorman's parents have spoken out, right? I think it's the first time that they came publicly and spoke on to someone on TV. And another station had picked it up, and their opening was, "You might remember this story." And I thought, who could forget it? But they don't tell them.
No.
They don't tell them.
And it's who could forget it? Everybody, because they don't report it. And even when they do report it, they're not reporting it correctly. They're not speaking how we speak now. And they're
No.
not telling the truth. They're sugarcoating it. They're making it sound nice, and it's not nice. It's not nice when this happens. 18-year-old babies are
No.
shot in the back. 37-year-old mothers are stuffed in a garbage can upside down and covered in bleach to conceal their death, their murder. And it's not nice.
Yep.
It's not pleasant. It's not made for TV. It's disgusting. It's sick. It doesn't belong in America. And is it horrible to hear? Absolutely. Is it horrible to talk about? Absolutely. Do I wish we didn't have to talk about it? Absolutely. And if you don't want to hear about it, get the illegal aliens out of America and do it now.
Yeah.
Amen. Absolutely. I was saying on I think I was on Fox, and I was telling them that it's the sanctuary cities preventing the local law enforcement from doing their job that is causing all of the excess arrests of these innocent people who are nice neighbors and never do anything. I'm sorry, if you're out there and they know you're legal, you're going. But it caused all of these arrests. It caused Preddy's and Good's death. They shouldn't have been anywhere near those agents. The
No.
local police should have been able to hold a perimeter around the ICE operations. That's not helping them. That's doing their job. But the police in these sanctuary jurisdictions are being told they can't do their job if it has anything to do with ICE at all. And that is absolutely dumbfounding.
They're not only told they can't do their job, there's actually a law in Illinois called the Trust Act that states they can't do their job. It's actually the law in Illinois, brought to you once again by Democrats. Yes, Democrats brought that law. It's the Trust Act. They support it. They love it. And the police cannot do their job. They cannot enforce the law. They cannot turn over an illegal alien who does not belong in the country, who's committed heinous acts. You could have an illegal alien murder 7 people, people, and they won't tell the federal government, "Hey, we got him. He's right here. Come and get him the hell out of here." They won't do that. Do you know why they won't do that? Do you know why? Does anybody know why? I'll give you the answer. They need them here because they need power. It's not compassion.
Yeah.
It's not because they love the poor immigrants who are here to seek refuge. It's not why. It's because they want to stuff them in certain areas and build up the population and get more power and get more seats.
Well, yeah, and that's why we need the Supreme Court to rule on the census case and so that illegal aliens are no longer counted in the census, and that'll strip all the areas of the power that they're gaining from it, and it'll finally disincentivize them from having all these illegal alien criminals in your cities that right now, they're spending your tax dollars to prop up. Well, your state has $450 billion, if I'm not mistaken, in unfunded liabilities on the pensions that they're not paying, not to mention all the other debt. But we can solve two problems at once there. But guys, I have a brilliant idea here. I think, again, we got to start looking at our political opponents and embracing their style. You know what? Why don't we put up a support line for the police that want to report the illegal aliens, the people at the prisons, whoever else, that they really want to tell ICE, but they can't. And then we can launder that through an agency out of state that is not in law enforcement, therefore not subject to this jurisdiction. And then we can call ICE and we can tell them where they need to be
Love it.
and everything else. We can hand them off the tips, and that way they don't have to have a guilty conscience about it.
We actually had a policeman in Illinois. I believe he was an Elgin, Illinois police officer who was fired for doing that very thing. He was I don't know if he was using Facebook or something to say he was just making posts. Hey, ICE, he was doing at ICE. You should check such and such address.
Oh no!
And the city of Elgin fired the policeman for that. It's just.
So we got to be creative then. We need to staff the phone number with therapists or priests so they don't have to disclose anything. And that way they can remain anonymous.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Well, I had that. I saw that thing on Facebook that I posted earlier that said all we have to do is have Donald Trump say that he's going to give them all citizenship if they vote Republican, and then the Democrats will get them out of here.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just they have no place here. They don't belong here. They're here because they are useful to the Democrat Party, because that's the only way they're. If you get rid of all the illegal votes, all the criminal votes, all the dead votes, what do you have left? You got the blue hairs and the furries, and that's really who gets behind this stuff, and you know that should tell you everything you need to know about.
The sad thing is it's more than Democrats. You know, this is what is happening with our country right now. Is it's a multitude of attacks coming all at the same time, and I think it's very intentional. You know, you look at fentanyl. You look at who's fentanyl taking out, right? 18 to 45. So that's our military young men and women age. That's our childbearing age young men and women, right? Our population is already suffering from people who just don't want to have kids. And now they're taking out, you know, the reproduction of our population, which is super important. People don't realize that. And then they're taking out the people who are going to defend us at some point. There's an entire generation just missing. I can't, being in this with Megan, all of the people who knew her, I can't tell you how many deaths I heard of every week. Kids her age. I still say kids because she was my kid, you know, but you know, the young people her age are dying right and left from fentanyl. Babies are dying. I mean, it's just insane. And then you've got, what's that?
It's all by design.
It is all by design. And I think
this is chemical warfare with these drugs.
But then if you look online, if you read the posts and stuff, I was reading through them and I was thinking, there is no way that people really think like this. Like some of those posts you can look at and go, this is just not, no, people did not just go ballistically crazy like this. It's not possible. And it isn't possible. Those posts are being put out on purpose. We are being just led by the nose right into disaster. I swear, by other countries. It's, you know, it's not just here. It's not just, you know, the entirety of ICE did not go rogue all at the same time. They didn't. You know, the government didn't turn into Nazis all at once. It's not the way it works. But yet they have people believing that.
Well, you can thank our media.
That's what helps.
It's a combination. There's a lot of brainwashed, useful idiots there. A lot of them. I talk to them all day long online. You got the brainwashed, useful idiots. You have the bots, right? These bot accounts. They're not real. They don't have profile. There's some of the people making these comments on there. And then you have foreign interests that are in there. You know, I saw so much when I started heavy with this petition, the one up here on the screen, change.org Justice for Sheridan. When I started posting that pretty heavy, some of the comments I was seeing, there's no way. There's no way a real
Right.
human would say this about
Right.
an 18-year-old girl shot in the back, right? There is nothing that girl did that you could blame it on anything other than the illegal alien murdering criminal who should have never
Right.
been here. That's the only thing you give it a fault, and they're blaming it on her. She
Right.
startled him. He was scared.
Right.
What?
Right.
This is no kind of. It's all engineered. AI is such a powerful thing right now that they create these AI personalities that go
Alien.
on there. But what happens is you get the useful idiots who see this
Mhm.
and that it becomes the Democrat movement. These are the people that
Mhm.
you see out at the No Kings protest and all this other nonsense, and they're all nuts. They're not the majority in the country.
Yeah.
No.
They're
It,
making it
it,
look like it's too much, like too much to overcome. It is not too much to overcome. You just have to use your brain. You have to think things through, you know, and speak up. Do
well, yeah,
something.
We already have a working model. Look at El Salvador. Look at Bukele. You know,
Yeah.
their country spent decades with the highest murder rate in South America. They cleaned it up in less than 2 years. Sure, they had to put 80,000 MS-13 gang members in prison, but now it's the safest country in the Southern Hemisphere. It isn't that hard,
Wow.
people. We just have to do the right thing and get this done. And then we can go back to having an America that we all believe in again, that isn't being co-opted
Mhm.
by foreign national agents and corrupt members of government. And that's why the Trump administration really needs to get on this mass deportations. We need to mandate E-Verify. We need to cut off all illegal aliens from any type of social welfare program, period. Make that a felony, boot them out of the country. And the problem will solve
Right.
itself. Most of them will
No
self-deport if you
licenses,
cut the spigot
no
off.
social security numbers, none of that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
This isn't rocket surgery. You know, the fact is they want it. They want our nation divided. They want they want the disharmony. They want the communities that are broken. You know, I live close to Springfield, Ohio, where they eat the cats and dogs. When you dump 20,000 people in a city of only 55,000, it destroys it. And that is
Yeah.
what they want. They want these enclaves, whether it's Dearborn or little Mogadishu or wherever else. That's what they want, because it's easier to control people who are divided. And then everybody's seen all the fraud from Little Somalia and everywhere else. I mean, this is probably
Mhm.
trillions of dollars of our yearly budget going to illegal foreign nationals that are here abusing our laws, murdering our citizens, and we've got to do the right thing and just get rid of it. We
Mhm.
have to remove these people from our country. There is no path forward, period, without removing the threat and getting them all out of here. Then we can maybe discuss immigration reform, or you know, because I do think people that are
Exactly.
here that want to be here and do the right things. It is too costly. It takes too long right now. But also we need to get back to when they're first here on a temporary basis before they're given citizenship. We need to get back to onboarding them. We need to make sure that they have
Right.
courses they have to take. They have to be able to speak fluent English. They need to know our history. We need to give them the tools that they need to properly assimilate into our country, instead of just opening up the border
Mandatory
and saying it's a
assimilation.
free for all.
You
Sorry,
know
what was
what's
that?
really
Mandatory.
sad? Sorry, go ahead, Mickey.
I was just saying assimilation needs to be mandatory. I don't
100%.
I don't give a
Yeah.
shit about anybody's feelings if you know me. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I hope you don't care about mine either. I don't care about anybody's feelings. Everybody, when you come here legally, should be issued a Christmas tree. I don't give a shit who you believe in. You're getting a Christmas tree if you live in America. And because that's who we are. We're a Christian nation. All your other stuff, I don't care what your religion is. That's up to you. But this is a Christian nation. We have Christmas. We celebrate the 4th of July. We celebrate Thanksgiving. Sorry, American Indians. I don't care. I like turkey. I like stuffing. And in November, we celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't care.
Okay.
You know, the whole world is based on colonization. The whole world is based on being conquered. We conquered America 250 years ago. This is ours. This is 250 years of America. It's ours now.
Yeah.
The people who got conquered that it got taken away, they're gone. Move on. This is America, and if you're going to come here, it's a sovereign nation. It has borders, and you will assimilate or don't come. End of story.
Yep.
This
And
is not a
pledge your
nation of
allegiance.
savages. We don't want them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And the sad thing is that, if President Trump wasn't so busy getting them all out of here, he probably could come up with a very streamlined and efficient way for people to migrate legally and to fix the broken problem, right? I 100% believe that. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even there, we also need to have guardrails. If somebody gets here and they just can't make it, they're going to be dependent on welfare. You know what? Back to wherever you came from. Maybe they need like $1,000 security deposit per person so that covers part of their flight home that they can get once they've spent 5 years here and become a lawful American citizen. Then we can give them their money back because we didn't have to boot them out. Anybody that immigrates to the United States, it should benefit our country. We don't need any more leeches. We have plenty of those on our own. So
it is a privilege, not a right.
Bingo. Yeah. So when we got to start taking this seriously, like other countries do or used to, I mean, if you break into Mexico, you get sent right back across the border. The vast majority of these 25, 30 million people that were let in under Biden, the vast majority of them, you hear from the left about international law. They whine and cry about that all the time. The vast majority of them should never have been here because you're supposed to go to the first country from your point of origin once you've crossed their border and gotten out. So the vast majority of them should not be anywhere near here. Other ones should still be in Mexico. But again, we got to start taking our own laws seriously and stop pretending all of a sudden it's it's the Gestapo, it's Nazi Germany. We enforce laws that have been on the books since our country's founding, essentially.
I tell you what, you want the perfect example? Try to go to Canada if you've had a DUI. You ain't getting in.
Really?
Try to go to Canada if you're an American citizen and you've had a DUI. Try to go to Canada if you're an American citizen and you've been committed of a crime. You ain't getting in. You can't even go there and catch a fish for an hour and come back. They won't let you in. They don't want you there. You know why? Because they're a sovereign nation with borders and rules, and they enforce them.
Well, just tell them you're there from India for a tech job.
Try to go to Mexico and squat there. It ain't going to happen. We went in October. We went to Mexico and we stayed at Isla de Mujeres, and on that island, they have armed Marines walking the beach just in case somebody washes up that shouldn't be there. They're going to get them out of there right away. Why? Because it's a sovereign nation and they have borders and they have rules and they don't put up with that shit. But we're expected to because we're the useless. We have so many useless idiots in the Democrat Party that have caused this for us because they want to do it under the guise of compassion. No, it's all power. They want them here because
it's compassion.
That's all it is.
It's seats, just like you said. They need to get them off the census. They shouldn't be allowed to be on the census at all. That's the only reason they're here is 2 feet and a heartbeat on the census. Count. That's it. That's all you have to have. 2 feet and a heartbeat. Doesn't matter if you're a citizen. Counts for the census. Census increases population. Population causes redistricting. Redistricting gives people more seats. Guess who's getting all the seats? The Democrats.
The blue states.
Which in turn gives them more power in Congress, and it also gives them the electoral college votes. Extra, more.
Absolutely.
So leads right to the presidency.
Yep.
We're getting close on time here. I want to give my final plea to everybody. Change.org/justice for Sheridan. It should be justice for the girls or justice for the women. It's right over here. Oh, it's over there. There we go.
There you go.
Our cameras are mirrored for some reason. It's odd. Anyway, go to the QR, go to the website, sign it. If you've already signed it, great job, thanks. It's not enough. Share it. Send it to your friends, send it to your family, put it on Twitter, put it on LinkedIn, X, whatever it is. I don't know it all. I'm old, but put it everywhere. Write it on the bathroom wall with a marker. I don't care. I'm not advocating graffiti, but do it on your own bathroom wall. The point is, get out there, share it. Do not let Jennifer's daughter Megan be forgotten. Do not let Sheridan be forgotten. Do not let Laken Riley be forgotten. Do not let the 19 victims so far in the last year be forgotten. Share the petition. It's not just for Sheridan, it's for everybody. We need to change sanctuary laws, and we need to get loud about it.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Any
Jennifer,
closing
final words?
words of wisdom that you'd like to leave the audience with here?
I just want to say, I belong to a group online, these groups that want to get rid of Pritzker. They want to get rid of the Safety Act, but nobody's doing anything. Get off your computer, get out and vote, do something, say something, anything. We have got to take action or it's never going to happen.
Yep. Need more people to get involved, more people to get off their butts, stop being internet warriors, and actually take steps to change things, or the country is toast.
Especially here in Illinois, where we have a super blue majority. We have no chance unless we rise up.
Yep. Well, again, I want to thank you for being here with us tonight. To our audience, thank you for joining us. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. Help us to grow so we can bring more people the news the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. And we'll be back next Tuesday with